first thing I want to mention is that this recipe is a doubled recipe. And I always like to put my pasta pot on to boil while I make any sauces. And so I filled my pasta pot with water, turned it on high, and this is what I use as a saucepan, and we're turning that on to medium heat. And we're going to I heated the pan first, and then for the single recipe, you're going to put a tablespoon of olive oil in and take your diced onions and put it into the hot pan that has oil on it. And then I like to mix it up because this pan will burn onions extremely fast. So I don't take any chances with it. I need a new pan. The handle's gonna fall off any day as well. And then I also take some minced garlic, I would say about a tablespoon, but again, the video you're seeing is a doubled recipe because we have 6 mouths to feed, so you're gonna see about 2 tablespoons, but the single recipe, it's about 1 tablespoon. We really like garlic, so sometimes we do go a little overboard. And then I just want to make sure it's nice and mixed up, because if you let garlic sit at too high of a heat, it can burn really easily, and the taste of burnt garlic is not really my favorite. And so I moved everything to the outside of the pan just so it wouldn't burn. And then I took my can of diced tomatoes and mixed that in. The recipe called for a 15-ounce can, and the cans that we have here are, I believe they're about 28 ounces. So I only have to use 1 can. You might have to find a smaller one or use half a can. So our seasonings are a half a teaspoon of oregano, and then a half a teaspoon of basil, a half a teaspoon of salt, some pepper, however much or little you want in there. I really like pepper, so sometimes I usually add a bit more. And then a pinch of red pepper flakes, and what you'll actually see is I used a 1/4 teaspoon because again it's a doubled recipe. And what I actually learned was a pinch is 1/8 of a teaspoon. So if you want to actually measure out a pinch of anything, you can use a 1/8 teaspoon to do that. And then so I just mixed everything in just so nothing was burning. Give it a nice big stir, get all the edges in there. And then when we're making our pasta, Gordon Ramsay, I learned this from him, you want to salt your water so it tastes like the sea, is what I've heard. And then you stir your pot and you add your pasta to stirring, like the whirling water. I don't know why that makes a difference. I don't ask questions though. He is a way better chef than me. So if that's how he tells me to make pasta, that's what I do. And then this is tomato paste, and it's 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And then that's just going to help thicken up the sauce. And then just give it a nice stir and let it mix in there, and it'll start to thicken on its own. And then the funny and ironic thing is that after we add the tomato paste and stir it all in there nicely, we are going to be adding pasta water, which then adds more liquid to it. But you know what? Again, I don't ask questions. I don't make these recipes. It was a really good recipe, so I'm not complaining. We are using pasta water. You can definitely use regular water. The thing with pasta water though is it takes the starches from the pasta and it'll help to thicken your sauce a little better. And then just pour the pasta water into your sauce and mix to combine. Stir it in there nice. So we're gonna turn the heat to low on the sauce, and then we are cutting in the cream cheese. I did not let this soften at room temperature. You can, and it'll melt faster. I just cut it into small pieces and let it melt that way. And in my opinion, I think it worked out just fine. Another cool trick would be to use an herb and garlic cream cheese. I think that would be probably super delicious in this recipe as well. One of my friends messaged me on my ravioli sauce video and said she did the same kind of sauce, but she used urban garlic cream cheese. So that was a super nifty tip, and I think it would work really well in this sauce too. And you see how creamy that sauce looks now? So delicious. And then this is a 1/4 cup of parm. Oh, it was 2 ounces of cream cheese, by the way. And then a 1/4 cup of parm. We use the real parm, and then I just grate it. So delicious. I can't go back to the other stuff now. Yeah, I'm a bit spoiled with that. And then my saucepan is not big, so to try and get that huge bowl of spinach into this saucepan was going to be a chore, and it was going to take a lot more time than I wanted to devote to wilting the spinach in the saucepan. So if you have a saucepan that it's not big enough to do this, then what I suggest is what I'm about to do. And that is not just keep mixing it. So the pasta pot that I use has a strainer, and I always strain it, put the pasta back in as you see, and then I just dumped all of the sauce into that pot. It's a bigger area to work in when I'm trying to wilt the spinach. I do have a tip for next time for myself, is to definitely, once I get all of the sauce in there and once I put the rest of the spinach in there, just put the lid on and let the heat work its magic. But I didn't do that. So I dumped all of the spinach in, and then I'm just basically folding it the way you would with some like cookie dough recipes and stuff like that. I'm just folding the spinach in so I'm not like damaging the spinach. I don't know. You can bruise it. That's what it's called. Bruising the spinach. You can bruise your spinach. And so I'm trying not to do that. And so I was just kind of letting the heat get to it, and I just folded it in, mixed it up a few times, and then you know what? That was good. Next time though, if you have small kids, I would probably suggest chopping it up, the spinach. The kids weren't fond of the big, as they said, the big pieces of lettuce. So definitely next time, chop up the spinach. You won't notice it as much, but it is so good. I really think you should try this, and if you do, let me know how you liked it. Have a good day, guys.